What is up? Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Shred Show Live. I can't tell you, you know what? I have guests on the show here and there that, of course, I'm excited to talk to, but I'm excited to talk to Evan today because if you don't know Evan, you're going to get to know him in a way that I'm extremely excited for you because he is one of those leaders, one of those innovators, one of those visionaries who has truly changed the industry, whether you know it or not. With his background in the industry and what he's working on now, the champions mindset and the champions funding, it is absolutely going to blow your mind. The conversation today is going to open your eyes to things that you never even imagined. So ladies and gentlemen, let's get into it. Are you ready? Are you ready? It is time to shred. Ladies and gentlemen, good morning and welcome to the Shred Show Live. I can't tell you how excited I am to have Evan Stone joining me this morning. You may recognize his face. You may have heard his name in the past because he has had so much impact in our industry for so many years. And now he's working on another passion project within the mortgage industry. So first and foremost, good morning, Evan, and welcome to the Shred Show.
Good morning, Josh. Good to be with you.
I am excited to have you on the show. There's so many things that we're going to be talking about today. But before we get into all of that, let's get to know Evan a little bit. Like, you have been somebody that I've known from afar. I've seen your name being in the industry as long as I have. Where did you get your start in the industry? Were you a little boy saying, you know what, one day, Mom, I'm going to change the mortgage industry. I want to be a mortgage professional. How did you get your start in all this?
Yeah, well, like so many others, when I first got in, I could barely spell mortgage. I didn't grow up with a silver spoon in my mouth, and I knew what it was like to struggle along with my family to hear about what bills could get paid and which bills would not be getting paid that month. And so I just kind of made the decision early on that I wanted to make sure that my family didn't struggle as much as we did. And so I didn't really have any pure direction as to what industry I wanted to get into. I just knew that I wanted to, start by earning a decent living and be able to support a family. And I heard about some guys that were loan originators and they were liking what they were doing and they were seemingly earning pretty good livings. And so I went and applied at a mortgage broker shop kind of right down the street from me and cut my teeth there, calling refinance mortgage leads from borrowers that had already told the company no once or twice. They gave me what they called the retread leads, but I was just happy to get any leads at all. I thought that was pretty exciting that at one point they had indicated some sort of an interest and, found a bit of success there. And then kind of looked at what the owner was doing for the company and the percentage of the revenue he was taking and thought, well, I don't really know what I'm doing, but let's just kind of figure it out because there seems to be a lot of meat on the bone here. And so, started Pacific Union in 2004 and, started growing that and wasn't a linear path, it wasn't arrows pointing straight up the whole way, but weathered a couple storms and scaled the business and sold it to Mr. Cooper in 2019. And now having watched from the sidelines very actively over the last few years, very excited to be back.
That's wait a minute. You're telling me that the growth of Pacific Union wasn't just a gradual uphill climb, amazing. It was you actually experienced some ups and downs, some rocky roads. That's not our industry at all. It's always just smooth sailing. Come on, what are you talking about here?
It's funny. People outside the industry, I think they don't fully understand the cyclicality and some of the sleepless nights that, certainly not just me. It's not unique to me. Anyone running a mortgage company, we're all subject to these cycles, and it's obviously very nice when you catch a good one, and obviously it's a little less fun and requires a lot of focus, a lot of discipline, and some real tough decisions when the cycles are not necessarily in your favor. So it is a roller coaster
It is. I love that you talk about it when, cycles are not in your favor. A lot of people think that is kind of where the industry is going right now is, there's a lot of doom and gloom out there, but we're here to talk about today. We're here to talk about Champions Funding, which I have to know. I mean, like you said, you have a very successful sale to Mr. Cooper a couple of years ago. Why get back at why Champions Funding? What sparked this new venture for you?
Yeah. So, and not to, I could probably talk about this, Josh, for an hour, and I know we don't have that much time. So we'll just kind of condense it into what triggered it, and then what ultimately really crystallized it. So when I was running Pacific Union, not saying that I'm the greatest leader in the industry by any stretch of the imagination, but my style is to get to the street level. The people that I work best with get to the street level. They're not ivory tower types that like to call the shots from the press box without really knowing what's going down on the street, right? So
sure.
I would make calls to clients, and the clients could be a broker, the client could be an end borrower. And I wanted to get a sense as to, how good of a job did we do? How could we improve? And so I would make these customer service calls myself once a month. And almost without fail, what I'd find is that the borrowers that were a little more marginal, maybe from a credit score perspective on our kind of government FHA, VA, USDA programs, they were so excited to hear from me. They were so excited to be in their homes. They were very thankful that they had crossed paths with Pacific Union, whereas the people that were what we'll call a little more, their profiles a little more commoditized, think much higher FICOs, people that could get loans from anyone. My call was just a nuisance call to them. They felt like, we should be honored and lucky for them to have chosen us as their lender. And in fact, we were honored and lucky, but certainly it feels better when the borrower is certainly grateful for the work that you did for them. And so that almost without fail was kind of the borrower that wasn't really given a great chance. They're credit worthy, but for whatever reason, they weren't given a great chance out there in the marketplace. So my view was, if I'm going to get back in, I want to really do something that combines, running a successful business, but helping people. That it wasn't going to be, worthy or fulfilling enough for me just to kind of serve the same purpose and mission as everyone else. And so we set about trying to figure out what that really meant to us. Patty Arviello, who's an owner of Champions, our chairwoman, and probably the most impressive woman in mortgage that I know personally.
Agreed.
Also incredibly passionate about Hispanic lending. She herself is Latina. Just a very impressive woman, and she wanted to combine forces with me, and so we set off to acquire a CDFI. Which for those that don't know, that means Community Development Financial Institution. So we are mission-driven, mission purpose, and our loan products, and frankly, our staff, our executive management team, and the balance of the team at Champions really reflects our mission.
Oh, and I'm excited. We're going to be talking about that more in a second, but it's so interesting that you talked about, serving that underserved consumer. That's what we're all in it for. And hearing that has always been your focus. I know back when I was, originating heavily, a lot of those deals where I couldn't, those vanilla borrowers like you're talking about, PACU was my option. Like, it's like, hey, where am I sending these options? And it provided so many people that I helped buy a home or refinancing that opportunity. Like, that's what it was. And I know that's kind of your mindset as well still these days. And that's why you started to look at, where is this need in the market? What are we seeing? And that's what I want to start talking about here is you saw a need in the market and you said, you know what, we can fill this. So talk a little bit about that. How is Champions different from other lenders out there?
Sure. I think there's a lot of ways we're different, and it really depends on whether we're talking about the products that we're offering brokers to offer, their borrowers, or whether how we're different as an organization and the makeup of our team and our approach and kind of the way we view the world. So maybe we'll just start with the products. I mean,
yeah, I was gonna say, let's specifically
CDFI,
talk about the non-Q. Let's talk about that side. Let's kind of dive into that.
Yeah. So non-QM is vital because as we all know, the traditional income underwriting works really well if you're a W-2 borrower, right? I mean, it works very well. For those that are not W-2 borrowers, less optimal, suboptimal. So then we look at what's really out there in the non-QM space today to help creditworthy borrowers that are self-employed or their income is a bit tricky. And then what we learned is that there is all sorts of situations out there where there's volatile income, cash businesses. I mean, just so many different situations where people that have good credit scores, that have good down payment, have demonstrated really, really strong financial responsibility, yet they still are going to have a really hard time proving income in the ways that the kind of meat and down the middle part of the non-QM landscape demands. And what's even more kind of sad about that, Josh, is that what we now know is that disproportionately impacts minorities. And so if you can imagine for a moment, being a borrower that saved up a really large down payment, you've paid all your bills on time, but the way that you earn money is just not quite in the box enough. And yet you want a piece of the American dream too. We all know that that buying your home is one of the most traditional ways of creating wealth in this country, and yet they've been largely locked out of this market. And so we set about figuring out how we can help creditworthy borrowers that have been impacted, in our view, unfairly by kind of a credit lens that doesn't fully consider lots of different types of employment situations. We live in a complex world, and people are earning money in all sorts of different ways. And when that disproportionately impacts minorities, specifically African American and Hispanic, something needs to be done about that. And we believe that we can be part of that solution. We don't apologize for being a for-profit enterprise.
Sure.
We're not a nonprofit, but we believe that for-profit and doing well for the world can exist in the same room, and that's what we're doing.
This is absolutely brilliant, Evan. And I'm so glad you started to take the conversation this way, because everybody, sometimes I think that is a misnomer, or kind of this idea of oh, we need to be serving this demographic, we need to be serving this, these people, but we have to make money in the end of it. That's what we're all in business. Every single one of us, whether you're in mortgage, real estate, whatever you're in sales, whatever your background, we all have to provide for our families. So, but talking about that even more that is the mission of Champions. And you've kind of alluded to this, but it's serving the underserved. So let's kind of talk about that as your mission as a company. How do you guys serve that underserved community in particular?
Yeah. So the way that the most kind of simple way of explaining it is, because we know that minorities doesn't mean that they don't have money, doesn't mean that they're not they don't have normal jobs. I mean, there's all different types of situations. All it means is a disproportionately. Sure. There are that traditional income underwriting negatively impacts minorities. It also impacts non-minorities, but it disproportionately impacts them. So by being a CDFI and being able to offer a program where you need to demonstrate financial responsibility, you need to show that you make your payments on time. Sure. You need to show that you have skin in the game, strong down payment. And then you need to show that once the transaction's been completed, that you have liquid cash reserves. What you don't need to do is go through hell and back again to show us how you earn your income or what that income is. And as a CDFI, we do not have to mandate that sort of that income documentation. And so we believe, and we've actually now seen data that through the pandemic, the other companies that are originating these types of loans, those loans performed exceptionally well. We now know that these loans are not just responsible, not just solving a real hole in the marketplace that has, an ESG true bend to it, but that at the end of it all, these were some of the best performing loans that were originated.
Yeah.
So now I think it's time to really start to, increase the volume on the megaphone and say, listen, we're here. We have a couple other, we'll call them competitors, but they're doing good work in the space, and we want them to do well. They're all kind of part of the same cause, and we want to be able to reach people that have been credit marginalized, credit invisible, people that they want a piece of the American dream too, and they're doing a wonderful job in demonstrating financial responsibility. And enough is enough. Let's get them in their home, and let's allow them to continue upward mobility.
Yeah, and I think this is the brilliant part of it. I think there's a lot of falsity and misinformation when it comes to non-QM loans, Evan. And this is something that you and the team of champions are trying to help break through. That's why we're doing this show, why we're having these conversations. So many people think of, non-QM as non-qualified, but are like, no, this is your typical non-qualified. It's like, whoa. Like, let's really break this down. Let's help the consumer, because I think most consumers don't even understand the difference between, these types of loans. But this education that you guys are doing, this mission to really serve that underserved demographic is, again, sometimes looked at in the wrong way. So I love that you guys are on a mission to start educating, to start even working with the brokers. And I want to talk about that. Really, what can brokers expect? Coming from a broker, somebody who's a broker myself, still licensed, not originating. I talked about that a lot, but what does that experience look like with you guys? How do I expect, when I start working with champions as a broker, what can I expect that to be in order to look like?
Sure. Well, I got to give all the credit to how I'm going to describe the experience to our team at Champions, and the woman who really, at the end of the day, makes that all happen is Natalie Verrett, who, in my view, is the strongest operations leader in the business, and frankly, I don't think it's even close. And so what she has done effectively is turn the traditional wholesale ops fulfillment model on its head. And what our view is at Champions is that brokers need to be able to communicate with the decision maker. The decision maker in most companies, including ours, is the underwriter. And then let's remove the other clutter. Nothing against account managers at other companies. I mean, I think there's different models that work differently. For us, we just believe that more underwriters, more attention on every file, more communication between the underwriter and the broker, and probably most importantly, Josh, our underwriters, I mean, yes, they are here to protect champions, protect investors that buy these loans. All that is true, and they will never approve a loan that shouldn't be approved. At the same time, I think we all know this in the industry. There are underwriters that almost want to take their sword out and they want to use it unnecessarily. Those underwriters are not going to do well at Champions. They just won't. We want to make deals wherever we can. And that's the mindset that we use at Champions. It's a deal-making mentality. Wherever we can make a deal, we will. We can't make deals every single time, unfortunately, as much as we like to.
Right.
But it's kind of a yes before no mindset.
Ooh, I like this. And this is a question, and I apologize, we're not sure who this came in from, but do these loans create inventory? Keep up the great content. Kind of to the point right there you were just saying, Evan, is like, this is creating new opportunity. I don't know if it's creating new inventory per se. That's kind of an interesting definition of it. But this is, sometimes we as mortgage professionals, we have our blinders on, and I always tell people to niche in a specific, but right now when inventory is low, when interest rates are going up, you have to start broadening your horizons. You have to start looking for new opportunities. This provides a completely new opportunity that most people aren't looking at.
Yeah, I mean, if you are a loan originator, this certainly creates more loan inventory. That's for sure. If the question is, does it create housing inventory? It's actually a very provocative question, because if you're answering the question, directly today, the answer is probably no. But if real estate developers know that this product exists and they could qualify more borrowers that might be in low-income census tracts or in low-income neighborhoods, perhaps that could at some point create housing inventory, at least marginally. But I mean, today, I think the real opportunity is, to your point, Josh, I mean, in a rising interest rate environment, loan originators, I'm not telling them anything that they don't already know. I mean, they're feeling the pressure right now. And you got to have a different tool in your toolkit. And we're really proud that we can offer, I think, a really meaningful tool. This isn't like just kind of for show. This is a real tool that can move the needle if you're a loan originator. They're surprisingly easy to underwrite. I think Natalie told me last time that our typical cycle time from submission to fund is about 21 days. 21 days. So, I mean, I think there's a lot to like about it. And then what we hope, because, I mean, there is certainly a genuine altruistic sort of focus on this, where you are helping people. These are people that they want to own a home like anyone else. And we sometimes forget, at the end of all this, there's a borrower that has dreams and aspirations like anyone else.
Bro.
And I mean, can you imagine, you got a 740 credit score, you've saved up 20, 25, 30%, and you're being told no every single time you walk in that bank. I mean, it has to be completely dispiriting. So to be able to get to a yes for those people, it feels good too.
Oh man, you're not giving me goosebumps here. And this is exactly why we're in this industry, is to provide that American dream of home ownership. That's what ultimately, that's like, anybody who has dedicated their life to this industry knows all about that. A couple comments coming in. Rob Bernay, good stuff. The playing field has been opened up. I absolutely agree with that. And then another LinkedIn user, not sure. Realtors need to know about these loan programs to open up more opportunities for home buyers. Absolutely. That's what all this is being discussed. That's what Evan and I are sharing here, is there's opportunity. There's always opportunity within the market. I recently heard a statistic that 83% of the Fortune 1000 companies were started in downturn times, or in times of difficulty. I would say our industry right now, the mortgage industry, is going through some difficult times in most perceived eyes. That's why I'm so excited for Champions. It's providing new opportunity. It's providing new options for consumers. So start to open our eyes, start to broaden our horizons. Now, I want to switch gears a little bit here, Evan, because we've been hitting a lot on this, and you've kind of shared a little bit about the team that you're building. My sign behind me says it all, like, teamwork makes the dream work. And I truly believe this within any company, and especially when it comes to a financial institution or a lender like Champions. But let's talk about the team you're building, some of the people that you're bringing in, the vibe that you're creating within this culture. So let's talk a little bit about that right now. What does the team look like that you're building right now?
It's high performing. And when you look at the bios of a lot of pretty well-known mortgage companies, certainly we look a little different too, and that's by design. When you look at our executive management team, and frankly, it extends much further than just the executive team, but you look at Natalie, you look at Christy Mindell, you look at Liz Lisk, you look at our management team, all very high performing individuals that want to do the right thing, very customer focused and driven. They get to the street level, like we mentioned earlier, not ivory tower types. And what's fascinating to me, Josh, is that, we just want to hire the best people, right? I mean, at the end of the day, we want to hire people that are aligned with our purpose, our mission, and that will do the right things and really commit to driving this in a direction we can all be proud of. What I find fascinating is that should Natalie Verrett, should she have been a president COO much earlier? There's no two ways about it. Should Christy Mindell have been an EVP of marketing long before me? No two ways about it. Frankly, Elizabeth Lisk, incredibly talented. Should she have been at a much higher position earlier on? There's no two ways about it. So if you open your mind to the idea that you don't need to look like me or you, Josh, to be on the executive management team of a mortgage company, it's amazing the talent that's out there. They just need to be supported. They need to be promoted appropriately, paid appropriately. At the end of the day, they just want to be valued appropriately. So, I mean, I would encourage all mortgage leaders out there to open their minds and understand that right now there may not be the same knife fight for talent there was, frankly, when we were getting going. But if you want the best people, then look for the best people. They don't need to look like you. Just the very best people. And there's amazing opportunities when you start hiring minority women, they just don't need to look like you. They just need to be the best at what they do. Oh. So we're really proud. I'd hire a white male. I'd hire anyone. We're equal opportunity. But the reality is that the real value out there is in people that haven't been given a fair shake.
Dude, this isn't entirely that's why this is why Champions is going to absolutely dominate. It's not like you got great loan programs, but what you're building, this mindset that you are creating, Evan, is so absolutely brilliant. And it's so different than what's out there. Huge shout out to my girl, Christy. Everybody knows that she's been one of those people I've had so much respect for. And she's the one that introduced me to you and to the entire team with Tiffany and Melanie and everybody that you're creating here. It is such a brilliant culture. That's what companies are based upon. That's the foundation of success in my eyes these days. Again, products are coming. The non-QM, what you guys are working on is absolutely, it's amazing. It's going to create new opportunities, but the team, the culture, the underlying of companies, that's what I know you are so good at, Evan, is building those, bringing those people together. These incredible women, like you mentioned, that should have had opportunities in the past that haven't. You're giving it to them. They're saying, hey, let's go. You got your at bat now. Let's step up. Let's freaking knock this out of the park. Let's have some fun. Tiffany comes in excited to be part of such a great company who's focused on providing more loan opportunities for consumers. You're 100% hashtag team champs. Love it, Tiffany. So, Evan, I want to start wrapping things up here. I want to be respectful of your time. This has been such a brilliant conversation, and we're going to have so many more. This is just the beginning, ladies and gentlemen. But as we start to break this down and start to wrap it up, what are some of your guys' goals for this year? Again, you guys are relatively new. So what are some of the goals? What are some of the success markers that you're looking for in this 2022 year upcoming?
Sure. Well, the way that we built this, Josh, very intentional. It started with having a goal and a mission. And part and parcel to that of the goal and the mission was to make sure that we serviced our clients really well. As a former broker, or at least I know you're still currently licensed, but as a loan originator, that there's this whole customer chain ecosystem, and that if the wholesale lender is the chink in that chain, and is the part that slows things down, or frankly even just completely messes it up, I mean, there's a whole lot of reverberation that occurs, and so we know that we need to be really good there. And I think we now feel really good, 2-3 months into this, that we are there. So now I think it's about really starting to grow our sales team, and I'd be very neglectful if I also didn't mention that Kimberly Torres, who's our EVP of wholesale, another Hispanic woman, should have been given an opportunity a long time ago for this role. Incredibly talented woman. So she's going to have the opportunity to really grow sales and really start to market this on a more nationwide basis. But we really needed to test and make sure that we felt confident that, we were ready to do that. And I think now we've arrived at a place where we feel very confident that we can deliver for all the customers in our ecosystem. And so I think it's, in a lot of ways, it's just scaling. We know that we have a mission that we're all on board with. We know we have a wonderful executive team that's rowing in the same direction. And so now really, Christy and KT, as we call Kimberly Torres, they'll work very closely together to start getting the word out on a more nationwide basis. And we're looking forward to helping a bunch of borrowers that have been forgotten about. We're looking forward to bringing on more people to Champions that have maybe been undervalued at their organizations. We're really excited to just continue to grow and scale in a way that maybe other people haven't been as focused on in the past.
Oh man, I have, and you can feel your love and your passion for it, Evan. That's the exciting part of it all. Is you can feel it's palpable as we even have the discussion here. You can feel that is your goal, that is your mission, and that's what you're tackling. Tim Lehman comes in with could use some broker marketing materials. There you go. If we can learn it, there's a way to step up right there. The marketing team's already like we got to get after it. But that's what's so exciting for you and the entire team, Evan. Is like, oh, we just got to comment. It's coming, so stay tuned, Tim. See, they're already ahead of the game here, brother. You got to stay with us and you're going to see more of that. But Evan, it is exciting. I know that you guys are going to continue to build an incredible organization. You're going to continue to inspire. You're going to continue to lead and innovate from the very front. So it is an exciting time for you, an exciting time for the broker industry. So kudos to you for setting out on this mission. I'm proud to associate with people like yourself who come from a place of like true intent. It's again, we're all in this to make money. We all want to do this, but at the end of the day, we want to help people achieve that American dream and build a team around it to make it happen. And that's exactly what you're doing, Evan. So I absolutely appreciate you. You guys are an incredible organization. Looking forward to having you and more of the team on the show, having even more discussions, educating the industry, educating consumers about what to look forward to in the non-QM space and so much more. So Evan, you're absolutely brilliant. Thanks for joining us on the show today. Hey,
Josh, thanks for having me.
Guys, this has been one of those conversations that has been eye-opening, not only me, but for so many of you. Go back and listen to some of these. There's so many little nuggets out of this conversation with Evan that are going to help you. They're going to help you start seeing new opportunities. That's what you need to start looking for in 2022. And Evan has brought those to light. That's what Champions Funding is doing for you. So go make it happen in 2022. And with that, as always, ladies and gentlemen, thanks for all the comments and for being engaged with us. As always, we appreciate you. We love you. Now it's time for all of you to go shred, go show up, hustle, repeat every day. See ya.